I got these shoes, so whenever people ask me, I just say it's the shoes. And they kind of leave me alone. Not really. Because most people already know I'm freakishly tall. Yeah, I had a blankie because it was cold. Deal with it. Anyway, so I made a list of different tall people problems and benefits. And some of the problems also can be benefits depending on how you look at them. So, we're going to look at some of them that I wrote down here. If I can read my writing, which depends on the day. So the first thing is, that's kind of a positive thing for just about anyone, is that you can reach stuff. Like, okay, when I first moved into the house I'm living in now, when I was just a little kid, there was a cupboard that at this point, at 6 foot, it's right about, the bottom of it is right about at eye level for me. So when I was a little kid, I couldn't reach that cupboard at all. Now, I can open it pretty easily. But the only thing is all it has in it is cereal. And I think the other one has saran wrap in it. And that's sort of stuff like tinfoil, saran wrap, that kind of thing. So it's kind of boring. And I don't really like cereal. Most of the time. Anyway, it's just kind of crazy from my perspective when I was a little kid to my perspective now. And I noticed that even when I go outside and I can touch, I think that's why a lot of tall people like to touch things above their eye level, because it's like, oh, I can touch that. I wasn't able to touch that when I was a little kid. That's why we do that. Okay. And then the other thing about being tall is interacting with little kids. They're just like, oh, hi, big giant person. It's crazy cute and kind of weird, but they're always so sweet. Well, most of the time. Unless you accidentally knock one over, which I did this even as a little kid. And now that I'm even taller, it's kind of even more difficult because sometimes I don't see them because they're like so quiet and they get under me and then they're just like, ah! And I'm like, sorry. And I'm begging their moms not to kill me. Oh, it's so embarrassing. Anyway, it's a positive and a negative thing, I guess. The other thing, okay, I'm going to go into like a couple negative things about being tall at this point. The number one complaint I have is banging my head on things. Because I've been in basements with 5-foot ceilings, and I was like this the entire time, and it was just like a dirt floor basement. It wasn't anything special. And there was like planks of wood that were, I guess they're called like support beams or something. I kept banging my head on those. Ow. And if you ever hit your head, even if you're a short person, if you hit your head on something that substantial, it's going to reverberate through your entire body. It's not fun. And that happens when you bang your head in the car too. It's like, and then you, for like 2-3 minutes. It's not fun. Sometimes I wondered if I'd get a concussion from something that, but I think I'm okay. I hope. Anyway, so headbanging is really annoying. Hugs. We'll talk about hugs a little bit. Yeah, I've had a lot of awkward hugs. I've almost killed people with my hugs, and I do surprise hugs sometimes, and some people are kind of creeped out by that, but I do that. And yeah, I almost killed a few people. This is so awkward. I don't want to talk about it. Okay, moving on. The other thing that can be kind of negative is not being able to see yourself in the mirror. Or even while I was sitting here kind of arranging my camera today for this video, I was just like, well, do I want? Because it's kind of interesting. I kind of feel like a real YouTuber now because I'm on my bed. And do you know how many YouTubers do their YouTube video, even famous ones, from their bed? That's kind of weird that they're letting that's kind of the cool thing about YouTube. They're letting you into their lives enough to see what their bed looks like. And I think if you know what someone's bed looks like, you're like really close, intimate friends with them. So I think it's more intimate and more kind of creepy, but cool at the same time. Anyway, oh yeah, and beds can sometimes be fun to try and find too. I had a twin bed until I think I was 13 or 14, and my feet were literally hanging off the edge. Because my parents really couldn't afford getting a new one until last couple years. So it wasn't like high on the priority list, but once my feet were hanging off and then they realized that, they don't come in my room much because it's kind of my lair, but that's kind of weird to say, but it's true. Anyway, they realized that I was getting too big for it, so they got me this one. And most of the time I really like it. Hey, I can fit myself and my laptop on it, so I'm good. I guess you really didn't need to know all that, but oh well. Anyway, don't get me wrong. I love being tall. I love being who I am, I guess, to some extent. There's some things about me I'd like to change, but tallness isn't one of them. So, I hope you enjoyed this. This is kind of not something I normally do, but maybe I'll do more like this. Depending if I get more Mountain Dew in my life. Because I drank a whole bottle of Mountain Dew and now I'm talking really, really fast. And giggling weird. I'm sorry. But I enjoyed talking to you. It was fun. See you soon. Balls.